What did you think of the original Mad Max?
It's just such a cool movie. It's like as action-packed as something like the Terminator, because you just have these cars chasing each other down these like back roads for like 3/4 of the movie, getting into awesome crashes or running people off the road.
The car stunts are amazing. They're the real highlight, and it gets better in the series because Road Warrior is a huge improvement. Fury Road was like we hadn't seen anything like that in decades or maybe ever. So, but this movie it opens strong. It sets a strong precedent for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean the story's good. You know, as you pointed out, it's kind of like a straightforward revenge. There's not much to it, and there's not much really to many of the characters that appear on screen.
No, there's one scene which I didn't overlook the scene, but I overlooked, I guess, kind of a key moment of dialogue when Max is resigning with Fifi. And Fifi says something like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Because I'm worried that the more I'm out there tracking these guys down, I'll become one of them." Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the only time it's mentioned. You can argue that that's like what happens when he goes full anti-Semite psychopath killing people. And
okay, yeah.
But at the same time, it's not really like it's more specific. It's not because he's just been out on the road. It's because his family was killed. It's a little different. Like if that's like the theme of the movie, I don't think it really works that well.
No, exactly. Like really, I don't know if there really is like a solid theme that runs through this movie beginning to end. You know what I mean?
There's something, but it's not the strength of the movie, certainly.
No, and I think the thing that is running through this movie is George Miller's direction, his vision for an Outback-based car chase movie. And I think if you're like...
It's that vision that brought Babe to the big city.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that movie. Babe Pig in the City is actually great.
Yeah, of course.
Or at least I remember it being great as a kid. I mean, he also did the original Babe. Excellent film. I remember Babe Pig in the City. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I remember that being pretty good. It's no Paddington 2.
Listen, don't just bring up Paddington 2. First Babe is
But
great.
if I'm not mistaken, Siskel and or Ebert had Babe Pig in the City in their top 10 of the year.
They did.
Whatever year it came out.
They did.
That's amazing. Yeah, so it's probably a pretty good movie. But again, no Paddington 2.
Okay.
Had Ebert lived to see Paddington 2, he would have said it's the best film ever made.
Okay. But no, Mad Max, it's just a fun movie. And I can't really describe it any other way. It's just a fun movie. It's not necessarily interesting. There are aspects of it that are interesting, but it's just a fun watch. There's really no slow points. And the things that are slow, kind of like with Terminator, everything that's slow in this movie is building up to something else. But yeah, I like this movie. What about you, Patrick? What are your thoughts?
I like it, don't love it. For me, it's, you know me, I like the weird, ultra gritty, like 70s era stuff. Like, I know you weren't on the episode where we did Death Wish, but yeah. I know I talked about that a lot. Like the Death Wish, Dirty Harry, Shaft era of action movies. And this is well later, but it's kind of in that vein. You know, it's a little bit of a different genre because it's this dystopian thing. And I love the grittiness of Max and of the police force. I don't love the bikers. Again,
no, they're all terrible.
It's a style of villain I just don't like. I think Toe Cutter is pretty cool. Like I like him as a villain because he is actually able to communicate without making weird faces and hooting and hollering and you know. He's fine. He's intimidating. I think that scene where he gets Johnny the Boy to light Goose on fire, I think that's probably his best scene, but he has the great scene with that guy working at the railroad station when he's
that's great
trying
too.
to get him to take off his cap to honor the fallen Knight Rider and stuff like that. Like, he's just really intimidating. I don't love the movie, and there's a lot of reasons I don't love the movie. I think the characters could have been stronger. I think we could have done a little bit more I mean, we do the relationship's pretty well established in the beginning when we first see Jesse, because when Max is going off to work, she does that sign language thing. She says it means I'm crazy about you or something, and that kind of comes back later. But she's basically, that's like her only scene in the first half of the movie, and then like suddenly in the second half they're on their road trip buying dogs and stuff, and I think they could have done a little bit more in between that. Mm-hmm. Made her a bigger part of the movie. They also could have done, I mean, Goose gets him to quit the police force, but then he kind of just goes on vacation, and it's almost like the Goose thing never happened, and the real snapping moment is when his wife died, which is fine. The one plot point doesn't lead to the other, I guess, in the most satisfying way.
I kind of took that whole scene and aftermath a little differently. When he told Fifi. He's like, I'm resigning, I'm quitting. And Fifi's like, just take a couple weeks. Max says something on his way out like, yeah, sure, or something like that. Like, as in, I'm not coming back. I'm fucking done. My good friend dying has, caused me to leave the force and stuff. And then I took this whole thing with Jesse. I took all that to mean like he's trying to start a new life somewhere else. He's just trying to get away. And it's these fucking hooligans, these bike hooligans, drag him back in.
No, I get that. I get that. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Yeah, there's that. But what's kind of weird to me, I guess, is I never know how personal it is with Toe Cutter and the gang. Mm-hmm. Because we know early on, Toe Cutter wants him dead because of what happened to Knight Rider. And then it's personal with Goose, because Goose was the one who was threatening Johnny the Boy and doing all this stuff. And then so they kill him. But then it's like, do they even at this point care about Max?
Or do they even know who Max, like who he is or like what he looks like?
Yeah. And then later on, towards the end of the movie, they stumble upon Jessie. The first time they stumble upon her, and she knees him in the balls. Then they follow her. It's not because of Max, I don't think. They're trying to just get her back.
Yeah, I think they were talking about kind of wanting to rape her when they first saw her, right?
Probably. I mean, that's what weirdo post-apocalyptic gang members do, right? I mean, that's their thing. And then it's obviously personal for Max after they kill her. And then there's like a moment towards the end of the movie where Toe Cutter is like getting aboard his motorcycle and he just sees a photograph on the ground of Jesse and Sprague, and it's like, okay, what was that though? Like, I don't. Yeah, I guess as kind of neat as Toe Cutter is as a villain, I wanted there to be like something more personal with him and Max. Like, I would love if Toe Cutter is as motivated to kill Max as Max is to kill him, and he really isn't. And I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think I would have enjoyed the movie better if it was different.
I get that.
But at the end of the day, the car stunts really deliver. It's difficult to overstate how freaking cool Max is. And I'm not one of those guys who's like, I don't go into a movie like hoping it's cool. That's not like my number one requirement, even for an action movie. But when Max looks as cool as he does, it's pretty awesome. And, with the black car, the black leather.
Oh, yeah, that black leather.
The hating black people.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's low-hanging fruit, but it's Mel Gibson. That's what it is. And then that's just really cool. Because Max isn't that interesting of a character. He could be more interesting. I think if there was more in the movie about, that concern he raises about, like, I'm going to become like them. I'm going to go crazy the more I'm out there. Yeah. I think if they had developed that a bit more, he could be a genuinely interesting character. He's really not that interesting. It's kind of just basic revenge man. But it pulls it off well because he looks cool. And Mel Gibson, say what you will about him as a human, he's a charismatic actor. He's good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for somebody like me, I really dig this movie just because of all the action stuff. Yeah. Specifically car stuff, crash stuff. And I think somebody like George Miller, who I think that also gets him revving when you create a second movie called The Road Warrior. And that gets a whole generation of action movie lovers into your main character and story. There's something to be said for...
It's also worth noting in regards to the series, Max isn't really... I'm kind of complaining there could have been more to his character in this movie. There's less to his character in all of the sequels.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like, he's kind of just there. And it's interesting to make a series revolving around a main character and then really not be all that interested in exploring him. And it's amazing the series has worked as well as it has. Because the movies are basically... And again, it's been a while since I've seen any of them. From what I understand... There's a few consistencies with Max. There aren't many consistencies with the world. Like we said, this one's not really post-apocalyptic. I think the other ones kind of are. Yes. Or at least some of them. There's always the crazy gang guys. That's a thing. And I think I read somewhere that, Max gets his knee blown out with a shotgun in this movie. And I think in the next 2 or 3 movies, he does walk with a limp like that. Like, that's a consistent thing. And I think maybe they even include something with his injured arm in some of the movies. I think they even, up to Fury Road, I think he even limps. And it's like, okay, that's neat. Yeah. And I think they do something with him, like, loving animals in some of the other movies, because he does buy the dog here. But, I mean, who doesn't love dogs, though? Like, just weird. No. So.
Yeah.
I want to say a dog features heavily in The Road Warrior. Because I seem to recall an emotional scene in the Mad Max movies where the dog dies. And like I said, in this movie, the dog dying is like a blink and you'll miss it moment. So it's not from this movie.
Well, I know there's a dog kid in the series.
Is that what he is?
Yeah, do you remember the feral kid?
That's in the Road Warrior, I believe. But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good movie. Not the best in the series. Not the worst in the series. It's definitely better than Thunderdome. Sorry, Tina Turner.